Hello, I'm Twila.
And I'm Natalie.
This is Twila and Natalie. We are here doing what we do best, which is sort of talking about all the joys and pitfalls of being grown women.
That's right, because we are grown women.
You know, I'm going to say that with pride today, that's for sure. I am a grown woman.
That's right. Sometimes I'm more grown than I want to be.
We're going to dig into that later. Something tells me there's a story there. So this week we have a question. Every week we have a question for you that we kind of talk about ourselves. We share our experiences, and then it gets a little bit more universal if we're lucky. So today's question is, I guess I'm asking you first. How adventurous are you?
How adventurous am I? Well, I mean,
now, I'll give you a little context.
I was going to say, because that's pretty broad.
Yeah, it is broad. I mean, given our age and given our life experience.
Yep, and I'm 46.
Yeah, I'm 43. I feel like it's fair to ask, are we at the point in our lives where we're being more adventurous or we're being less adventurous?
I think it really depends on, the situation. Here's what I find myself doing when I think about, whether I'm out with friends or I'm out with kids and they're climbing something. I'm like, look at that great tree. I would love to go up in that tree. I base almost every physical thing I do, and this even goes for exercise classes, on my decision-making process for if I'm going to do something or not that's physical is where am I at with my insurance deductible? And it's even like, I'm not joking. I'm dead serious.
I know, I see your face.
Even with people I hang out with, if you got a little bit of a cold and you want to go have drinks, I'm like, you know what? I'm at the early end this year. I got a full deductible to go. I can't afford to get sick.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, but if I've met my deductible, I get a little more adventurous. Like, you know what? If I sprain an ankle, my insurance will cover it right now. So maybe I will climb the tree, and maybe I will meet my friend who's just getting over the flu for drinks, because if I get it, I can go into a doctor and get medicine.
Okay, for the rest of the year, anytime you ask me to do something, I'm going to text you back and say, I haven't met my deductible. I'll have to get back to you. That's going to be perfect.
I know, I've said that too. People have got, hey, you want to go hiking? No, girl, have not met my deductible.
That cannot be breaking
that
the
is
hip.
Not happening.
Thank you very much. Okay, now I guess I'm thinking, when I was thinking in terms of adventurous, I feel like on the whole I'm not as adventurous as I used to be.
Do you think though is it willingness, or is it, that smart or grown woman voice kicks in and goes, let's talk about this. Let's talk through consequence. Let's talk about what could happen.
No,
because you're impulsive when you're younger.
Yeah, you're just dumb when you're younger.
You're just stupid and just do it.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I don't necessarily think it's that voice that's like, I feel like you just presented a very respectable white woman that just in the back of my head that's like, okay, Twila, let's discuss this.
That's right.
Yeah, no,
you got to channel your inner white woman.
Yeah, I feel like it's more.
And for those who don't know, Twila is black.
Oh, I'm gonna hear about that all day. I feel like there's a voice in the back of my head, but it's not that voice. It's more of the voice that says, that's going to hurt. Mm-hmm. I'm.
Does your inner voice sound like a white woman?
No.
I think it's because my inner voice sounds like an older Jewish woman.
My inner voice sounds like my mom.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it usually isn't talking to me very kindly. It's usually like, will you use your common sense, please? Mm-hmm. Why are you doing this? Like that's usually how my voice is.
See, that makes sense. Mine, if I want to go roller skating, I hear, oh, so you want to do the roller skating? You want to break a hip? You want to get hurt? You want to be laid up? Okay, you don't have time for that.
Who in your life actually sounds like that?
Nobody. That's why it's so bizarre. That's why I've always thought that my spirit guide happens to be an older Jewish woman.
That's priceless.
I know, especially since I'm not Jewish.
I can't wait until you get to the end of whatever your days are and you get to wherever the place is.
And I'm going to meet her.
Up and you meet this. Yeah. And you find out this whole time that she's been like literally sitting in the clouds going, yeah, it was me.
That's right. And you know what, Twila? I'll tell you, she's smart. She has given me some good advice.
I do appreciate that you take the context of like the wise decision you've made to get yourself out of trouble and said, no, it's not me. It's the little old Jewish lady that's been looking out for me. She makes really good decisions and I listen.
I'm telling you, I think she's my spirit guide or something.
I appreciate that. So, I would assume that the voice that's in my head is more of the voice that's trying to tell me like, you just don't need to do this stupid stuff anymore. Yeah. Like, there's nothing to prove to anybody. You don't have to do anything. Like my favorite phrase right now is no.
Now.
Yeah. Like I think, and like you do that thing where everybody hits that, midlife mark and you want to tackle things you've never tackled before.
Sure, like a bucket list.
Yeah. And so, like I had like run a marathon on there and, some other crazy things. There's a couple things I've left on there, but most of that stuff
Did
I
you
let go of.
run a marathon on there?
No. Yeah. No.
It's still on?
No, I took it
Thank
off.
God you took it off. I don't know that we can still be friends.
No, look, but a bunch of my girlfriends did. Like they did it. And they were like, come on, Twila, we're going to do it together. And I was like, that's cute. I'm going to be the girl handing y'all cups of water. I did too. I did. I volunteered to work the marathon. I gave out orange slices, sponges, and cups. And my girlfriend did see me, and I did wave real hard and yell for her. But I did not run it. I was like, you know what? I'm right here at mile marker 22, and this is good enough for me. I am near a marathon.
Yeah, I know. I don't have that on my bucket list at all. I've done a 5K twice, and I walked it. The very first time I was dead last, right in front of the cop car that brings up the rear. Because when I do a 5K, I don't just walk it. I saunter.
Well, why not? If you're going to do it, you might as well just stroll.
And the only one I do, it's the same one. I've done it twice. I do it because it's over St. Patrick's Day and I get to wear a green tutu.
But see, that's like the whole idea of it is I would like to say that there is, I'll say this. I am less adventurous about things where I can physically get hurt.
Yes.
Like there are parts of me that are like, I'm just not interested in breaking bones anymore. Like I'm at the age now where as much fun as I'm having with some things, I still wake up in the morning and all of a sudden now there's like, cricks and cracks and bones and I didn't hear before.
Yeah. Can you look back and remember that when we used to get up in the morning, it was, just more, it just sounded sexier. Now we get up and it's, oh Lord.
Yeah.
Crack.
Yeah. Where you don't want to, where you physically just can't get up yet.
Like, just standing up straight fully is an act of Congress.
Oh yeah. I get head rush. I got to be careful. And I wear glasses. So if I get a head rush and I try to stand up, most likely everything's going to look fuzzy and I'm going to wind up on the ground.
Now, now, I don't know if this happens to you and I have vertigo. So sometimes what'll happen is I'll wake up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom and I have a whole routine. I have to sit on the bed and then I stand up and I wait and then I can walk to the bathroom.
Yeah. I don't even have vertigo.
You should just jump out of bed.
Yeah, well, and I think that's part of it is that there's
we're more aware of our physical limitations.
Yeah, and I've hurt myself enough times to this is not the thing you want to do. Now, on the opposite end, I feel like as much of the physical stuff that I don't engage in anymore, which, and there's a laundry list of physical things I don't do anymore, y'all. I don't play touch football. No,
I don't go on rides at carnivals.
Girl, I gave up carny rides in my 30s though.
Yeah.
But I will say this, I don't do things that spin. I don't do complicated things anymore. The last time I was on a real,
I can't physically do it.
Yeah. When I was on a real, roller coaster, I hadn't been on one in like 15 years and I got on one at Disney with my kids because I felt like this was the only time it was ever going to happen. And I did that one time. So that's enough for the rest of my life. I'm done. But I don't do, things like that anymore. I try not to do like heavy duty contact sports things because I wind up getting hurt. I will admit I have not given up wrestling with children yet.
Sure. Well, what little ones that you can still take?
But they're not that little. I got teens now, and they're almost at my weight class. So we're like the first time just recently I had my first real warning shot that this is going to have to stop soon because I tweaked my knee and it wasn't that I was doing something. It was that the kid was doing something that almost took me. And I was like, okay, I need to get out of this as champion and not get out of it as having been defeated. So that's all ego. It's not even a physical thing.
Do you think though, and let me ask you, when you talk about whether or not we're more adventurous today in our 40s than we were before, that in some ways I feel that I am. It's just I'm looking for a different kind of thrill.
Yes.
I'm not trying to climb Mount Everest.
Yeah.
And, be all, look, I climb Mount Everest. They're more personal feats, I think.
Yeah, see, I think my risks are now much more calculated in terms of I feel like this is the shot. Like if I'm gonna take a shot, I'm gonna take my shot right now.
Yeah, you challenge yourself in maybe a different way.
Yeah, because I can share that here. Every year on my birthday, I've been doing this for years, but really in the last 4 years, it's become purposeful. I make a list of things I want to accomplish for every year that I've lived on the planet.
Yeah.
And before it used to be an impossible bucket list, like the very first.
You mean the number is how old you are? So you're 43. So now your list would need to be 43 things to do
43
this year.
things to do.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
So then you have 43 things to accomplish in that year.
Right. And they're not easy things. Like I think my first philosophy was it was a bucket list. So it had ridiculous things like go
skydive.
Go to Fiji, meet Oprah. It had things that felt like impossible things on it that I wasn't even going to even attempt to really do because you don't really.
So now they're challenging, but more realistic.
Yeah, now there really are things that are in the sort of wheelhouse of I can accomplish these things.
Like what?
Well, I'll say this. I usually don't disclose the list I'm in. So I don't because I don't like to. I like to make sure that it's internal, that I'm really being working toward it.
Sure.
So last year's list very specifically had on it that I wanted to start a business.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Right, and so at the point in time of which I wrote that list. The idea for the business I started was still an idea. It didn't have funding. It didn't have support. It was really just me walking around going, wouldn't it be cool if this existed?
Sure.
And we have now passed 43 and we are on the 43 list, and I was able to accomplish that. But a lot of the things that are on those lists are things like that, things that require actual planning and drive and goals.
Exactly. They require work. It's not just,
they do.
I want to be able to hold my breath for 3 minutes.
Yeah. Like if
Although
you write,
that would take practice.
Yeah. Like if you write a list and you don't put action behind it, it's just a wish. I didn't want a list of wishes. I wanted a list of actions.
That's right. It's like my grandpa used to say, and I'll have to edit it, but poop in one hand, wish in the other, see which one fills up first. Except he didn't say poop.
I swear you need to write a book.
It's the same thing.
Your Hawaii
that's
wisdom.
On my list.
Yeah, that's of all your Hawaii wisdom.
Exactly.
But but isn't that the kind of thing? I mean, when we talk about sort of that sense of adventure,
yes.
I kept sort of asking myself when the question came up, what kind of adventures am I willing to get into now? Like, I know physical adventures aren't necessarily my thing. I think I want to have more experiences in my life now.
Exactly.
So
yeah, I agree completely with that.
I haven't seen enough of the world. I feel like, me, I love people. I love quirky people. I feel like I haven't met enough people to feel like I've had a significant, and you
have to travel to do that.
Yeah, you got to get out of your own, place and your own comfort zone.
I have a bucket list. I have a sexual bucket list.
How did I know this was? How did I not know this?
And I didn't even come up with it till I don't know, maybe almost 4 years ago.
It was back when I met you, wasn't it? Uh-huh.
That's right.
I think we've discussed this.
I was coming into my 40s, where women often come into our embrace our sexuality. And I'm not kidding. I have a list, and I've accomplished many things.
Okay,
and I'm happy to say one person.
Wait, no, now I'm messing with you. You don't have to tell me anything, but now you're gonna tell me things. How many items are on this list?
There are about 18 that are done or not done.
No, like hold on, back up.
Okay.
How big is this list?
It fluctuates, but I'm pretty much settled on about 18. Like you with your bucket list, when I was looking at my sexual bucket list, I thought, okay, some of this is probably not very realistic due to laws and the locations.
I don't want to know.
You learn quick what security guards are willing to put up with and not tolerate.
Yeah. I would just like to remind you that you still actually have a partner, and eventually he will hear that.
Hey, he knows about it. He's the one I've anything I've done on it, I've done with him. No, he knows. Okay. And there are a couple, and I'll, like you get busy and a couple things I'm like, hey, you know what? We still need to do that. Where can we find a steam room? They're not crazy things.
Right. But they're just things that you decided you wanted to do.
I decided that I wanted to experience with somebody that I was completely passionately in love with, devoted to, my, true life partner.
Right. You want to explore some stuff.
Yeah. I wanted to explore these things with him.
Right.
And,
that's all right.
And
that's
again,
a good thing.
It's not anything too crazy, but I just thought,
okay,
I've never done that.
Okay. Wait. So I asked you the first question, which was how many things are on it? So how many of these things have you been able to check off?
Oh, a good amount.
Okay. I'm impressed. I'd clap, except I think I just set off the mic. Yeah. So you can't see this, but I'm giving you a hearty thumbs up right now.
Thumbs up. Yeah. And some, and I think and that's all the things when we talk about, our question was, are we adventurous?
Yeah. How are we as adventurous?
And I feel for me, that's changed sexuality wise. I've gotten way more adventurous. And I think for me, that comes from accepting myself more, being comfortable with myself, being comfortable with who I am, being comfortable with daylight.
No,
when
listen,
I'm naked.
Look, I'm not laughing at you. You know why I'm not laughing at you. When did you met me? You and I met each other almost 5 years ago, right? And that was about the time I was taking a large anniversary trip. I was leaving the country. And the thing I was most paranoid about leaving the country with my husband. Here's the thing. Here's how shallow I am. I was not worried about my children and their safety. I was not worried about like their care and well-being while I was gone for this extended trip. I was gone for like 11 days in a foreign country.
Yep.
I was not worried about the language barrier. I was not worried about my passport. I wasn't even worried about the fact that I had never been on that side of the world before. I was only worried about one thing: daytime nudity. And I think I stressed myself out so much that I lost weight. I lost 10 pounds because I was so worried about the idea that we had small children. So we had confined ourselves to like middle of the night, door locked, check kids are breathing, quiet, like silent sex, because it was like, okay, because we don't want to wake up kids and nobody wants to have that talk. And literally,
and then
like,
you get used to it. You get used to having sex that way, where you're quiet,
right? Like where you're just like, you just operate in the mode with little kids. There's a way that the parents are very smart and stealthy like that. And then all of a sudden, it was like, we're taking this trip and we spent all this money and we have no inhibitions and there's nobody to check.
And you can be more adventurous. You can make noise.
Right?
You can have sex in the middle of the day.
Literally, it was like, wait, I can't even tell you last time he saw me naked. Like in the daytime. That's not like, and I remember saying that and somebody was like, what do you mean? I was like, no, don't get it twisted. I mean, I'm a guy when it comes to that. I'm good. Yeah. I was like, but literally it was like, it's nighttime. Like we don't see dark. Anything. It's stealthy. So I will admit that is a very big deal in in terms of adventurousness. Just being brave enough to be like, I'm going to be naked.
Yep.
It's daytime. You're going to see all of the, there is no fine German engineering holding everything up and in.
Nope.
Deal with it.
No, you can't be wearing Spanx in bed.
Yeah. So it's like, that's a huge,
but that's the start of it. When that acceptance of, okay, you know what? I've had 3 children. Things aren't completely where they used to be, but still given that, I'm like, for a 46-year-old, not bad.
That's true. Okay, so we should probably make sure we touch on, like, where are a couple other areas where you feel like you're being more adventurous now?
I feel I'm being more adventurous when it comes to, in this, it's kind of which is funny saying this here, but, in sharing what I think about things. It's not my intention to offend someone, but I've embraced this idea of just really being honest.
I just want to know when I can call shenanigans. I'm just putting it out there. I feel like I'm going to find a button. We need a button that just like signals shenanigans. So we know, because I've known you for a while, and I would say the reason why we got along famously is because you are never afraid to say what you need to say.
Yeah, but I've embraced it more. And I mean, think about it too. And when we were doing radio together, that is what you do. I feel I took that more into my personal life and into more real life situations, and felt more comfortable sharing that. I write. I've been writing columns for years, so I've done that to a degree. There is a big difference between writing something and putting it out in a newspaper, and then when you're face to face with another individual and you're having a conversation and being honest. I've always had my opinions,
right?
But I love now going to a party and talking with another parent, and they're like, "Oh yeah, are you going to the band concert tomorrow?" And I'm like, "No." Because, well, what do you mean? Or are you tied up? No, I just don't like to be cold and it's outside.
So there's I call that embracing my inner no.
Yeah.
Like I'm good with a no.
Well, maybe that is more accurate. I am more adventurous in being willing to say not just no, but not feel I need an explanation that's acceptable to you.
Yeah, that's true.
There are times, of course, there's always a time and a place.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. There's no reason to pretend like I haven't always been opinionated, and I've pretty much always been a bull in a china shop. If anything, I've become better at sort of understanding how to tiptoe through the china shop.
You've become more adventurous and being more diplomatic. Is
yeah,
what you're saying.
I feel like that's real growth right there.
And I've become more adventurous in going, oh no.
Yeah, like we're just gonna put it all out there. I think in a strange way, I've become more adventurous in terms of just deciding to follow the thing that I feel like I'm called to follow.
Yeah.
So whether it be, starting to do this and, and doing podcasting, whether it's, I think a big thing for me, and has been a big transition for a lot of people that know me, is I became a lot more sort of adventurous in terms of like pursuing things for my own health.
Yes.
So I went from, completely Southern, your classic, black girl, I was, fried chickens, all day, like I was just all the traditional things. And then very like piece by piece, I went, I'm not going to eat meat anymore. Let's see how that works.
I know.
Oh, I'm not going to eat. Yeah.
And then you did the 1 month of vegan.
Yeah. And then
in January.
And now now
you're full blown vegan.
Yeah,
right?
and that's a huge deal, and not just for me as an individual. And please don't send me emails. I'm not philosophical vegan. I want to live to 150, and here's how I'm going to get there.
Yeah, and we balance each other out. I love meat. In fact, I smell
all
like pork most of the time.
You eat all the spam.
Exactly.
But just that transition of like, when you become adventurous enough to sort of live in your own skin fully, then you don't you don't make other people feel uncomfortable, and you don't feel uncomfortable when other people don't get it.
Well, and you also don't need to try and make everyone else that way.
Yeah.
And that's what I appreciate about you being a vegan is, you're not on me about, girl, you need to stop eating spam.
Yeah, I'm just like, listen,
what works for you works for you.
Well, I always try to tell people I still have like sense memory of things. Like I have very strong sense memory of being like an 8-year-old eating fried spam sandwiches with like government cheese on it, like and mustard. That's a good sense memory. It was a good memory. I mean, I don't know what it was doing to my intestines, but it was a good memory. So I'm not going to let that go. So I'm always like, y'all do you, I'm going to do me. I'm just doing an interesting life experiment to see just how old I'm going to get. Cause I'm that person that if you gave me the option to have like a head in a jar, I'd just be like, please, I want to be the head in the jar. Turn me toward the TV. I want to see everything. I want to know everything that's going on.
We're going to cryogenically freeze you. I've gotten more adventurous in food. Speaking of food, I've tried in the last couple years.
I think
escargot. Hated it.
Wait. Is it okay? Now riddle me this: is the adventurous in food thing? Did that literally come from us wanting to try other things, or does that come from us actually finally having enough disposable income to go someplace where we feel compelled?
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah, like when I was in my 20s, it was all about McDonald's because that was cheap and I
couldn't
afford
it. Sushi,
right?
Yeah.
And then in my 30s, I had some kids and I could afford things, but I had kids, so we always wound up eating at like Old Country Buffet. So now I'm in my 40s and my kids don't have to go to restaurants because they can mind themselves.
Yep.
And me and Daddy can go have some grown up time at grown up places,
right.
so I can have a cocktail and I can have
and then when you travel, there's more of an opportunity. You can
we're foodies. Yeah,
you can eat alligator in the South. You can have...
and I think that's a big part of it, too. Like the idea of if you're gonna... I think that adventurous part of your brain kicks in when it says, I'm finally doing this. I should do all of it, not some of it.
I should embrace it and try it. While I'm here, I should eat the ethnic food.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, do it all. If I'm in... Like, my family and I take food vacations, literally. We pick a city. We want to see as much of the U.S. as we can before they move out.
Sure.
We pick a city. We go to that city. We do the cultural things. Everybody gets an activity based on their like hobby, the thing they love, and then we eat all the food that city can offer us. That's their food. So we went to St. Louis and did barbecue and gooey butter cake. We went to Iowa and had the honey yeast dough pizza, that kind of thing. We just did Seattle and every place that has like a marker. We try to get to that marker.
Try that. I had frog legs in Chicago.
Then you had one more thing than I did.
They're known for that, but
I was like, you did one more thing than I did.
It tasted like chicken and small chicken.
I have had frog's legs once in my life.
Yeah, I wouldn't seek it out.
No,
but, it's like if it's there, I'll eat it.
It wasn't too bad. But I suppose I guess we answered the question. Yeah, essentially that I think we feel like we are more adventurous.
Yeah, I definitely feel that I am more adventurous in when it comes to experiences.
Okay, I would say
that don't involve carnival rides.
I am adventurous, but risk averse.
Risk adverse?
No, averse.
Rick.
I'm risk averse. I'm not gonna take like a lot of risk. But I'm down for an adventure. I just might be the risk. I'm down for an adventure, but sometimes I might be the one holding the coats.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
I'm in the room.
Yeah, you're supportive of people and their adventures.
Yeah, I'm here. It's like I'm like that girl at the water park. You guys have fun. I'll watch the towels.
I'm gonna be taking the pictures.
Right. So that's. I mean, I feel like that's at least I'm in the room.
Oh, yeah.
I'll take credit.
And I think the biggest thing that, we're sharing with our listening audience today is that know where you are with your insurance deductible.
If you can do that, then you know you've won.
That should play.
All right. Well, we want to hear from you. We want to hear your opinion. Are you more adventurous than you used to be? Are you less? Where do you sort of put your energy behind adventures? Go to Facebook. Go to the Matriarch Digital Media website. The Facebook page. And click on the little tab that says send a message. We want to hear from you. So send us a message. Make sure to tag Twila and Natalie, because sometimes we'll get a chance to follow up with some of this stuff. We'll be able to read really funny responses on the air. We'd love to be able to share some stories in kind. And at some point, we'll probably follow up and do another show. So thanks. We appreciate it. Stay tuned.